If you've been gardening long enough, you've probably been told the same thing over and over again. Dig a compost pit, wait months, then maybe your soil improves. I believe that too. For years I dug pits, layered scraps, turned piles, and waited patiently. Sometimes it worked. Often, it didn't. The soil stayed compacted, dry, and lifeless, especially during hot or unpredictable seasons. Then I decided to test something different on the soil power garden. I put biochar and cardboard head to head, skipped compost pits entirely, and watched what happened. What followed completely reshaped how I build soil, and it might do the same for you. Compost pits sound simple, but in real gardens they come with problems. They disturb soil structure, expose microbes to heat and drying, and demand time many gardeners don't have. In dry climates or poor soils, compost pits often break down slowly, leaving nutrients locked away when plants need them most. I wanted a method that worked with soil life, not against it, something that improved structure, held moisture, and fed microbes without constant digging. That's when I decided to test two radically different soil helpers, biochar and cardboard. So, I prepared two identical garden beds, both starting out with the same depleted soil. No compost pits, no turning, and definitely no imported soil, just keeping it simple. One bed got biochar that had been properly charged up with nutrients. The other bed, I just layered plain cardboard right on the soil surface, then covered it lightly with soil and mulch. Both beds were planted with the same crops watered the same way, and, well, left to do their thing. I wasn't just chasing quick growth here, I really wanted to see what was happening underground. You know, biochar is often misunderstood. It's not actually fertilizer, it's more like a habitat. When it's properly charged, biochar acts a bit like a sponge and, honestly, an apartment complex for microbes. Within just a few weeks, I noticed the biochar bed stayed cooler and, yeah, noticeably more moist than the surrounding soil. Roots penetrated deeper with less resistance. When I gently pulled plants, fine white feeder roots clung to the biochar particles. The soil smelled alive, earthy and rich, not sour or dead. Water infiltration improved dramatically, and even after hot days, the soil didn't crust or crack. The biggest surprise came later. Growth didn't just spike once, it stayed consistent. Plants didn't stall mid-season, which is common when nutrients wash away or organic matter breaks down too quickly. Cardboard is often promoted as a miracle solution, and in many ways, it works. The cardboard bed suppressed weeds instantly, moisture stayed locked in, and surface soil remained protected from sun and erosion. Worm activity increased near the surface, especially where cardboard stayed damp. However, the improvement stayed mostly shallow. The top layer softened beautifully, but deeper soil remained compacted. Roots spread sideways more than downward. As cardboard broke down, growth was good, but once it fully decomposed, the benefits slowed unless new layers were added. Cardboard acted like a temporary blanket. Biochar acted like a long-term upgrade. The real turning point came after a heavy rain. The cardboard bed held water near the surface but became soggy. The biochar bed drained evenly while staying moist below. No runoff, no pooling. That's when it clicked. So, healthy soil isn't just about feeding plants. It's really about managing water, air, and, microbial life all together. Compost pits focus on decomposition in one spot, but, biochar and surface methods actually build resilience across the entire bed. If you're new to gardening, compost pits can definitely feel overwhelming. They demand patience, space, and, well, some experience. This test showed me that you can actually skip pits entirely and still build rich, productive soil. Cardboard is, honestly, an excellent starting tool. It's cheap, accessible, and pretty forgiving. It protects soil while the biology, slowly wakes up. Biochar, when used correctly, takes that foundation and locks improvements in for years, sometimes even decades. You don't need to choose one forever. You can start with cardboard and, introduce biochar gradually as your soil improves. For seasoned gardeners, the takeaway is deeper. Compost pits recycle waste, but they don't necessarily fix soil structure or long-term fertility. Biochar changes the architecture of soil. It creates stable pores that don't collapse season after season. Once microbes colonize biochar, nutrients stop leaching away. Fertility becomes steady instead of spiky. That means fewer inputs, fewer problems, and honestly, more predictable harvests. In my soil power beds, the biochar area now needs less watering, less feeding, and less correction overall. Uncharged biochar can steal nutrients at first. That's why many gardeners try it once and quit. In this test, I soaked biochar in compost tea and nutrient-rich water before adding it. That step made all the difference. Biochar isn't magic on day one, it's an investment. Cardboard gives fast surface results. Biochar gives slow, permanent change. Compost pits, they really concentrate all your effort in just one place. But living soil systems, well, they spread those benefits everywhere. By keeping the soil covered, adding stable carbon like biochar, and gently feeding the microbes, the soil actually starts to heal itself. Instead of digging holes, I now focus on building layers, and instead of waiting for months, I get to see gradual improvement every single season. The soil, honestly, does most of the work. These days, compost pits are a thing of the past for me. I use surface organic matter, toss in some cardboard when it's needed, and add biochar as a kind of long-term backbone for the soil. The soil stays loose, dark, and alive, even when the weather gets a bit stressful. Plants don't just survive, they thrive consistently. This biochar versus cardboard test wasn't about proving one method right. It was about understanding how soil really works. Cardboard protects and starts the process. Biochar transforms and sustains it. If you've been frustrated with compost pits, exhausted by constant digging, or stuck with tired soil, this approach might change everything for you, just like it did for me. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Soil Power YouTube channel, share this article with a fellow gardener, and join us as we keep uncovering simple, powerful ways to grow better soil and better food, naturally.